What's going on, Chip and Maria? Right now I'm at Synergy Rhythm and Dance where they offer this cool class, breakdancing. I've got my whole getup on, so let's go inside and see how I do. Before I got started, I wanted to see what I was getting myself into. As instructor Danny and his colleague Joe warmed up, I learned that breakdancing is a branch of hip-hop that has been around for years. Danny himself has been breakdancing for 6 years.
I think my influence has been the negative people who have been in my life, or the negative breakdancers who I've had experiences with.
Danny now uses breakdancing as a form of release and teaches it every Thursday here at Synergy Rhythm and Dance. So after they warmed up, it was time for my private lesson.
It's very important to really keep that in mind, is that anybody can do it. There are no limits, right, Joe? Yeah. You can do whatever you want. Things that you've learned in the past, your own style. You can bring it and create it into your own personal style.
So with a background in cheerleading, I was up for the challenge of learning a new style of dance. We began creating our set with some simple step movements. In breakdancing, this is called your up rock.
All right, in the front step, we should do like this. Front, front, front.
After I got warmed up and just about mastered the up rock, I was ready for the next piece of our set.
Okay, we're going to move on, okay? After your up rock is transitions. Alright, your transitions is what makes your set complete.
For our transition, Danny taught me the batter rock. This is a simple step that allows you to move from your up rock to the floor. Simply step forward, rock back, and bend down to a crouching position.
And then you go down. What I like to say, it's like a story. You have your intro, you have your climax, and then you have, you know, the transitions from chapter to chapter, and then, you know, so like breakdancing is like self-expression story to me.
This transition brings you into your down rock, which is your floor movements. Danny then taught me the sixth step, which was the third piece of our set.
The sixth step. Okay, a lot of people stay away from it. But to me, it's traditional. You have to have it. Right. And then you're going to bring your left leg up into a crab walk position. Bring your other hand down.
So I'm about halfway done with the class, and I'm definitely using some muscles I didn't even know I had. But right now, I'm about to do the chair pose, so let's see how I do. So after a short break, I walked back onto the dance floor and was ready to try some poses. First up was the chair. It sounds simple. Place your right hand on the ground, your right elbow into your side, your head on the ground, push off, hold your legs in the air, and hope for the best.
2 seconds. So how are you feeling about this?
A lot harder than I thought it was going to be, for sure.
While I didn't quite master the chair pose, I give myself an A for effort. Danny then showed me some other poses, or as I like to call them, freeze frames. Then it was on to pike kicks and mule kicks.
A lot of people think it's a lot of upper body strength, and not really. It's just a lot of endurance and getting used to your body getting beaten up a lot.
And beat up my body is exactly what I did. But then it was time to bring out my creative side, which is a huge part of breakdancing. Danny says by doing this, you make the dance your own.
So I want you together to think of something that both of you like. Incorporate it into the up rock that I just showed you.
So you said you did cheerleading, right? You should maybe put a jump in.
So we tried to incorporate a double 9 and a few more moves to make the set a little more feminine.
I get satisfaction when somebody has become autonomous with it and are able to create their own style and their moves. I get satisfaction when somebody actually feels the music. Like I can tell when somebody's into it and just feeling it, because then I feel it. It's like, oh yeah, you know, that was dope.
Finally, it was time for me to show off my whole set. At the end of the day, I learned moves I didn't know existed and got a good workout in. But I think I should stick to my day job. For TC 24/7, I'm Stephanie Schroeder. Uptown Normal is filled with unique shops that have been around for years. The Garlic Press is one of them. It got its start almost 35 years ago as a professional cookware store.
We did gadgets and Cuisinarts and cooking and serving accessories and things like that. And the original store was at the very end of the block, so it was only about 12 feet wide, 30 feet long, so it was very long and narrow. And we've grown into this new spot and really progressed and pushed the walls as far as we could now.
And pushed the walls they did as they moved to a larger location and opened up their own cafe. The cafe seems to have become quite a hit among local residents over the past 3 years. Partner Pam Lawson credits this to one thing.
The fact that we make our food fresh and daily. We try to use as many local products and produce as we possibly can.
Today, you can find employees at the cafe hard at work just about any time of day. But this store did begin based around cookware, so we can't forget to check out their cookbooks, pots and pans, and their famous patterned aprons. From a cafe to endless cooking supplies, the garlic press seems to have it all, including a cooking class. One's about to get started, so let's take a look. Cooking classes are offered every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, and on the menu tonight is a meal that Chef Michael likes to call Baby It's Cold Outside. First up, the appetizer of choice for the night is farmstead cheddar tartlets.
It'll be sort of like finger food. You could serve at a party, or just set out on a plate as an appetizer, as a first course when you've got company coming over. Or you could sit in the kitchen all by yourself and eat them.
Michael began by making the crust, then letting it harden in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Next, it was time to prepare the filling. Then, of course, letting the two meet and bake to perfection.
See, aren't those going to be cute?
Not only does Michael provide step-by-step directions and show you how to prepare the food, he also adds cooking tips and personal stories.
I grew up with pot roast a lot, especially for Sunday, because something you put in the oven before you go to church, then you come back from church and you have the pot roast. I thought it was the blandest meal I ever had.
As you might guess, pot roast is next on the menu, but Michael is kicking it up a notch by personalizing this one with his favorite flavors. He began by heating the olive oil and letting the meat begin to brown.
That would be brown. So we're going to turn it over, brown the other side.
And to liven up the roast, Michael added green peppers, onions, fresh cloves of garlic, beer, and red relish. And we all know it's a rule to use a garlic press in each class.
I love that sound. Sizzle, isn't that great? I mean, we enjoy food with all of our senses. It's not just taste and smell, but even sound, and of course we eat with our eyes, and even touch. How different foods feel on the tongue.
So once your senses are running wild, cook the roast in a slow oven for 2 to 3 hours.
See how tender that meat is? Just falling apart. That's what I'm talking about.
That was magic.
Wasn't that magic?
If you haven't figured it out by now, Michael loves audience participation, and he knows how to work a crowd.
We need a couple live chickens and go to my house and get the goat. Just kidding. No animals. Well, actually, a couple animals will be harmed in the making of this meal.
And between jokes, Michael instructed us as we began our side dishes, baked beans and cauliflower. And of course, no meal is truly complete without dessert, sugar cream pie. Once the audience members have soaked in all of Michael's culinary knowledge, it's time to dig in and enjoy.
It's a tradition my sister and I have started doing. We take 2 classes every time they have a session. They do it, and we learn all kinds of new recipes. We try it out on our families, and then you get a night away and you get great food.
So whether you're a cooking pro or a newbie, all are welcome here and bound to go home with a few new skills and a full stomach. For TC 24/7, I'm Stephanie Schroeder.